The next update for Grounded will likely be the biggest yet, bigger even than the Hot and Hazy update. It will also be here before you know it, so if you plan on continuing your current save, you should start preparing now so you can jump right into the new content when it drops. With that in mind, in this video, I'll be showing you the 3 places I built a base in preparation for the next update. Before we begin, I want to thank my channel members, especially the Overseer91 and Grey Knight, who allow me to make videos like this. You too can become a member today by clicking the join button below. Let's get started. Okay, I loaded into my newest survival world. This is the one that I created after the Hot and Hazy update. It's the one I've been playing in my live streams here on YouTube. What I want to do first is look at the map real quick to show you what we expect to be updated in the next update. So this has been talked about before, so I'll be really brief on this. The termite video that came out a week or two ago showed the wood pile that's in front of this shed up here. So it's almost guaranteed. I think it's a certainty. This area of the map's going to be updated. So with that in mind, my first base I'm going to show you is going to be up here. The other areas that I'm going to look at in this video are going to be down here in the sandbox, because the sandbox currently, the sandbox lab outpost only has one room. There's also a hidden area down here that's blocked by a giant rock. So it's likely that the sandbox is going to get updated. But first, let's take a look at this place up here. So what I did was I built a base here. I did this in my latest live stream. And I decided, because I'd done everything in this playthrough up to this point, I was going to start doing some preparation. So the little bit of time I'm spending in this world between now and the next update, I'm just going to start preparing for that update so that when the update drops, I can jump right in and do all the new content before most likely starting another fresh world where we start over. So as you can see, we're up here by the shed. Now, one thing I would recommend is building a base up here. This is probably the #1 place I would say you want to set up a base or an outpost. The reason for that is obviously because this area up here is almost surely going to get updated. Now, if you want to set it up right now before that update drops, I would say you're safe. You have a safe bet of doing it as long as you're on this side of the construction tape. Now, of course, with the game being early access and with things changing, even in parts of the yard that are not behind the under construction area, there's always a chance this could get messed with. But being on the retaining wall here, I think this is a pretty solid landmark. I don't expect anything down this far to get messed up. So if you build on this side of the construction tape over here, under construction tape over here, anywhere between here and the shed, there is a possibility that your stuff could be destroyed. It could be under the ground. It could have some type of new item or something going through it. So especially if you build all the way up there on top of that retaining wall, with the wood pile being up there, it's definitely not safe to build up there because you don't know where your base is going to be in relation to what's coming in the game. And of course down here, anything, you never know, stuff could change down here. There could be wood down here. They could add something else down here. So I think the safe bet, if you want to build a base over here, is going to be to build over here on the retaining wall. Now I'm right here above where the slanted rock is here that you can walk up here. That's the easiest way to get up here unless you want to build yourself stairs. And of course, when you build a new base, what I've done right now is I've set up pretty much everything that I need over here. So I got myself a dew collector. I have a jerky rack in case I need to make berry leather or jerky. Inside, I got myself a bed. I would 100% recommend setting up a bed in any of the bases you plan on spending a lot of time in, just because you will get the bonus status of, let's see if I still have it. Maybe I haven't slept in the bed since I did the last time I slept. So if you sleep here, you'll get comfy hunger and comfy thirst, which will give you, you will actually have a longer time before you start losing your hunger and thirst the following day. It's much better than sleeping in the lean-to. So if you can afford to build beds everywhere, I would definitely do that. Of course, we got a storage chest. We got our workbench. We have an oven. We have a smoothie machine, and I got a bunch of roasting spits. Now, I will say that everybody right now is probably taking advantage of the fact that the roasts do not spoil in the roasting spit. I think there's a good chance that's going to get patched in the next update. So be mindful of that. And then up here, I just built a storage area. So I don't really have much up here other than some chests. And I just did this to make the house a little bit bigger. So this is the first place I would build a base because we know that this is getting updated in the next update. And you want to have a base set up as close to it as possible. So now let's head on to the 2 other places I think you should have a base set up if you're preparing for the next update. The second place I'm going to recommend building a base in preparation for the next big update in Grounded is going to be the sandbox. Now, you may have already built here during the Hot and Hazy update, after the Hot and Hazy update, because of course the sandbox was populated, but you may have not built in this specific spot, which you can actually build anywhere in the sandbox, but my preferred location is going to be down here in this bottom right corner here. The reason for that is it's down here by the water. From what I've seen, as of now at least, nothing comes over here. You're not going to get bothered by any insects. There is a wolf spider that's underneath of here. I just saw him walk underneath of there. He patrols out this way. I have not seen him back here. That's not to say he doesn't come back here, but I've never seen him come back here, as they don't normally like to come in the water. There are no antlion spawns back here. And in fact, if you have an antlion chase you, they usually will not go through the water either. So you're pretty safe back in this location. Another reason it's a good spot is because the sandcastle is right over there. And the sandcastle is one of the spots that is most likely going to get updated in the next update because, as I said, there's a rock back here that is blocking a path right now, which will probably be opened up in the next update. And then, of course, the outpost is right here. So we're pretty close to the outpost here. We can get to that and get back without fighting too many ant lions. You'll probably run into maybe 1 or 2 at most. And if the wolf spider's out, you might see him. He typically only comes out at night, though, because during the day, he honestly will get torn up by the ant lions. They'll actually wreck him. So you might run into 1 or 2 ant lions that pop out of the ground between here and the outpost. So if you're setting up a base in the sandbox, which would make sense because, like I said, this is probably going to get updated, this would be a great place. Now, this is only a small base I put together. This is probably more in line with what I would recommend. You don't have to do anything crazy. Like you're going to see the next base I'm going to show you, I built underneath the picnic table, just as huge, but it's not really necessary. This has all the basic stuff. It's got a spit, it's got a workbench. It has a lean-to right now. I will probably put a bed in here before the next update just so I can get that comfy hunger and comfy thirst bonus. And then, of course, back here, we got a dew collector, and I have a water container back there that I can fill up. The only problem with building over here is going to be there is a complete lack of food unless you go get treasure. Now, if you go through the treasure chest, you should find a decent amount of food inside of them. Either the candy piece, you can either eat the spicy shards, you can eat the mint shards sometimes. There's also sometimes meals inside of them. So if you do build over here, I would recommend bringing some kind of food with you, be it either putting stuff on the roasting spit or acorns or algae or some other kind of food like mushrooms, something like that, just so you have food while you're over here. But this is the second place I would definitely recommend building a base prior to the next update. The third and final place I would say would make sense to set up a base, and actually if you only want to build one base, that should prepare you for all the new content. This might be the best place to do it, especially if you're limited time and don't have time to build everywhere, would be somewhere around the picnic table. I know a lot of people chose to build on the picnic table. I chose to build down here just because this area is probably, I don't think the picnic table is going to get much change to it. They might add some stuff down here. But by me building up high like this, I think it's unlikely that anything detrimental is going to happen to my base here. So I just built this castle here. Now I did this on stream as well. And honestly, I did this because I was bored one day and I was just like, you know, let me just build a castle over here because I had a bunch of mushroom bricks and I wasn't really using them for anything. So I built this. Oops, I fell down. I built this without really thinking about it at the time because I built it about a month ago or so. But now looking back on it, it's probably was a good idea because this is going to be the midpoint between the sandbox, which is likely to get updated again in the next update, and the shed area over there. So this thing's way more than you probably need. I just went all out here. It's got the same stuff as the other bases in it, basically. We got the dew collector that's down here in the corner, over here on the rock. Then, of course, I got a roasting spit here. I have a bed upstairs. I have a spinning wheel. The spinning wheel was the one thing I didn't have over in the base over by the retaining wall, which I'll probably add at some point. I just didn't have the materials to build it. And honestly, I went overboard on this just because I was just trying to kill some time and I wanted to build a cool castle because up to this point, I really haven't built like a full out castle. So this is the third and final place I would recommend building a base. And like I said, if you only have time to build one, it might make sense building one in or around the picnic table because you can quickly get to the sandbox from the zip line up there. And if I know I've said before, I don't like using zip lines. I will use the ones that are in the game, like this one up here or the one that's over in the hedge, just because it's convenient to get over there. If you like using zip lines, you can also build one from this picnic table over to that retaining wall. So you could actually have this be the midpoint between where all the new content's going to be. Those are the 3 places I recommend building a base or outpost before the next update drops. Let me know if there are any other places you recommend building before the next update in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can become a member today by clicking the join card on the screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.